Hey, Bruce Naylor here. Welcome to Desktop Hi-Fi. This channel is all about hi-fi gear for the desktop and near-field listening. Sometimes I will review vintage gear as well as some music reviews. So if you like this type of content, give this channel a subscribe to it if you're not subscribed. Give the video a like and share it with other people that might be interested as well. That helps a lot. But today's video is all about the collaboration between Douk and Ampapa for their new D1 integrated amplifier. Okay, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and I wish to thank Douk for sending this to me for review at no cost to me. However, all opinions are my own, and no one's reviewed this product no one's reviewed this video prior to posting. If you are looking to pick one of these up for yourself, I do have an affiliate link in the description down below. It does not cost you any more. That way I get a few bucks, and that helps sustain the channel. So this is a Class D amplifier centered around the ever popular TPA3255 chipset, and it ships with a 48 volt 5 amp GAN power brick as well. Ampapa designed this as a compact Class D integrated amp, right? And it's designed for home stereo desktop use. It offers Bluetooth 5.2, balanced TRS inputs, digital BU meters, and pre-out functionality, particularly useful for a powered or active subwoofer. This really targets listeners who want something powerful, right? They want something really powerful. They want a lot of features in the amp. They want a small footprint. And they want something they can drive. Bookshelf speakers, small floor standing speakers. And it also offers you the flexibility of acting as a preamp as well. So in this review, I'm going to cover unboxing, the build quality, features. We'll take a look at the inputs and outputs, listening impressions. I'm going to compare this with my Fosi ZA3. When you unbox the D1, okay, you're going to get a 48 volt 5 amp power brick. There comes with a remote control, a user guide, Bluetooth antenna, and of course the D1 itself. And my first impressions was, wow, this thing seems to be pretty well made. Nice all metal chassis. And of course it's got a glass top on it that allows you to access the op amps and change the various colors, the internal LEDs and lights on the side. One of three different multiple dip switches, I should say. Kind of cool, not done with software, which I thought was kind of odd, but okay. Okay, on the front, besides the glass panel, you also have this knob. And that knob basically is for volume, okay? And also multifunction. There, press in. There you go, you can get to your various settings, such as tone control, light, and style. I'm gonna go ahead and use this remote control. Let's just talk about this a little bit. It's the one that's included in the box. You have your power off and on button, input switching, mute, treble up, treble down, bass, oh, that's bass up and bass down. But you press and hold this one for a bit, and then that gets you into Bluetooth pairing. Volume up and down, previous, next, and this is for you bring up your menu and confirmation button. Let's go ahead and then look at some of the menus real quick. I'm going to use the remote. You can go change your inputs here. We're going to go into settings, and you have three different options. You've got the tone. You can choose, increase your bass, your treble that way. And then, there we go. Get back out of that. Then you have the adjustments for the light. Dim it all the way down or all the way up. And let's take a look. Finally, you have your style of your meters, and you've got at least 7 different. So you have kind of, I think this one's kind of default where you have 2 separate meters for each channel. There we go. Then you have the dual meters there. And then here's another example. Then you have the one large meter. Go to the next group. Again, one large meter, then a blue one. And then you have a frequency analyzer, and then just the basic there. And we get out of here and go back. There we go. And that puts us back to the actual menu, right, or the actual display of the VU meters that you select. And that is pretty much all your options with the menu. I just find it's easier to use the remote whenever possible. So hang on to that remote. By the way, as far as like thermal venting on here, I think the whole thing acts kind of like a heatsink. It gets warm, but never hot. You don't have to worry about heat. It's fine. It's fine. You can let it run all day long, which is what I did, and it never got hot to the hand. So, as I said, this multifunction knob controls the volume, menu selections, etc. So, you have that. I definitely prefer the remote. Let's talk about some of the inputs that come with this. You get a Bluetooth 5.2, which supports SBC, AAC, aptX-HD, and there is also a stereo RCA input as well as a TRS balanced input. Now, as far as outputs are concerned, the speaker binding posts will take banana plugs or wire, bare wire. There's a pre-out, which is full range for an active subwoofer. Then you have a high-pass filter, which essentially just passes through frequencies above between 80 or no higher than, say, 200 onto your mains. And then anything below 200, you can adjust it all the way down to like 30, I think, or 20 hertz. You can adjust that on the high-pass filter. So anything above whatever you set the high-pass filter to will go to the mains, and then the deep bass will go to the pre-out, which sends a full range signal. Now, internally, 2-ounce copper PCB board, Sagami inductors, and it comes with the NJW 1194 chip, which is upgradable to the NE5532 op amps for the signal path. Very easy to get to, just remove the glass. And then, of course, it gets, let's talk about power for a second. All right, it's advertised at 300 watts per channel, times 2 into 4 ohms. Now, it comes with a 240 watt power supply. So let's just take some of these power ratings kind of, realistically at around, on an 8 ohm load, I would say this is somewhere around about 80, 85 watts per channel in 8 ohms, and probably closer to maybe 100, 105 somewhere watts per channel into 4 ohms. But that's just me. I don't have any measuring equipment for that purpose, but that's kind of typical, I think, in these Class D amps using the TPA 3255s. But it's also really small, okay? It's around 6 inches wide and a little over 5 in depth, or a little under 5 in depth, I should say, and then it's like just under 2 inches in height. So literally, you can see with my hand, is ideal for a desktop setup. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, that's all fine and dandy, but how does it sound? Well, I compared this with my ZA3 for listening impressions. I ran a variety of different kinds of music, but mostly classic rock. Got into a Boz Scaggs kick and listened to some of his albums. Here's what I can say about the bass. By itself, just talking about how this unit sounds, not comparing it to ZA3, I felt that the bass was good, well controlled. It does a good job dampening the bass. The mid bass, good. I could say it was also good. Then let's talk about the mid range. This is where I noticed a little bit of difference between the ZA3 and the D1. And I think that's probably got to do with the op amps in there as well. But the sound is very, very close to the ZA3. Nice, warm mids. You get bright vocal or bright treble, but without it being too fatiguing or tiring. So these little Class D amps really do a remarkable job, all things considered. I think I didn't mention the price. This retails for $199, and then I think the ZA3 that we're going to compare this with sells for $149 currently, I believe. As far as the sound quality goes, I'm going to keep things real simple here, all right? Because I'm getting kind of tired of all these audiophile terms that mean whatever you want them to mean. I just say something either sounds bad, like a AM radio in your car, something sounds okay, like FM does, like an FM station stereo in your car. Okay, and then good, like good quality hi-fi sound. I rate the sound good. Now, as far as the performance goes, very, very good. No problem with the peaks, dynamics. It's got a little bit of slam to it, which I happen to like. So does the ZA3. So overall, good. Now, if somebody asks me about the accuracy of the meters, maybe. I mean, I think they do a pretty good job representing, kind of the peaks and stuff, but these were never really meant to be more, I think, than just something fun to watch myself. I know most hi-fi gear doesn't even ship with VU meters, so that's kind of cool. Doesn't affect music in any way, shape, or form, the sound quality. So it's just an extra thing. The lighting effects, all that, but the sound quality is going to be pretty similar to the ZA3, which we are talking about comparing with next. Let's just talk a little bit about comparing this with the ZA3. Okay, both are TPA 3255 Class D integrated amplifiers at budget price points. So the D1 is $199, the Fosi is like $149. Power and performance, ZA3 is quoted at 155 watts into 4 ohms. Varies by your power supply and voltage. The D1 is quoted up to 300 watts into 4 ohms each. But again, the real world depends really heavily on the, on the power supply used and the speaker load. The D1 includes Bluetooth 5.2. You get balanced TRS inputs. You get pre-out for your subwoofer, tone controls. You get a high-pass filter, multiple VU meter styles, where the ZA3 is typically, it just has RCA inputs and balanced inputs only, no Bluetooth or fewer extras. Bottom line is, if you want to use the extra features, balanced inputs, Bluetooth, the pre-out, the high-pass filter, all these extra perks, then it's, $50 more per se, but you're getting a lot more feature set than the ZA3 has to offer. But sound quality wise, they're going to sound pretty similar in a lot of ways. I'll put it this way. If you want maximum watts for minimal spend, stick with the ZA3. But if you want a little bit more functionality, and I think just a really attractive package to sit on your desktop, I don't think you can go wrong with the D1. So for desktop and near field listening, streaming, Bluetooth, maybe a later upgrade path, get the D1. Budget power amp for speakers or for mono bridging, definitely the ZA3. Now let's just talk a little bit about the pros and cons of the D1. It's got a great feature set. Again, we got the Bluetooth, SBC, AAA, AAC, aptX-HD. You get all that. The balanced TRS input, tone controls, high-pass filter, multiple. You get a lot of stuff with this, okay? You get good power and headroom for small and medium speakers. Desktop friendly size, and I think pretty attractive looking VU meters for fun. Okay. Upgradable internal op amps, and for example, they did use 2 ounces of copper in the PCB and the Sagami inductors. Cons. What are the cons? Well, again, the power quoted probably will not reflect real world conditions. Thermal ventilation concerns under heavier load. Class D amps can potentially let heat build up is possible, but I have yet to have this thing get hot. Some people have mentioned there might be some possible background noise or hiss if you have extremely sensitive speakers. And I do have a pair of Klipsch RP600Ms, and I did try that with those, and I noticed no hiss, nothing of that sort. So you are getting a highly competent integrated amp for the price. That is it. That is my review of the Ampapa Douk collaboration for the D1 integrated amplifier. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.